sure.
And you've made yourself, I mean, you've done this. You've gone purely for rich fellas who've given you the five-star treatment, basically.
Yes.
If you fell, I mean, if you really fell for somebody who had got nothing at all, chap who didn't work, was on the dole, didn't have a car, how do you cope with it?
Well, as I said, doesn't last. It doesn't last if it happens, and I've been lucky enough that it hasn't happened that often.
Right. So you certainly wouldn't go looking for
no, definitely
someone like that.
Definitely not.
Are you selfish?
Yes.
Are you greedy?
Yes.
Yeah. You admit it.
Yes, I suppose if you ask that question to like 10 people, 9 out of 10 will be honest and tell you that they are greedy and selfish.
Do you think this quest for money and lots of it and this champagne five-star lifestyle is going to make you happy?
Yes.
Do you? Well,
yeah.
We'll see. I'd like to meet my next guest. He suffered because of people like Lola, he says. His wife was a gold digger too. She took him for everything he had. Let's find out how as we say hello to Andy. What do you make of what you've just heard?
Disgusting. Why? Selfish. Absolutely selfish. She's got no respect for us men. I mean, she's got no feelings for the men that she hammers. You've just got no feeling for them. You shouldn't even be allowed on the street. I'm telling you just shouldn't even be allowed.
Well, I mean, I'm providing them an emotional sort of pleasure. They're providing for my financial pleasure. It's...
And what do you leave them with? What do you leave them with at the end of the day? Have they got any money left? I don't think so, because I was left with no money.
Just explain what happened.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I started a company off several years ago, and because I was working so hard for such long hours, I broke up with my wife. And
you broke up with your wife?
Yeah. And basically, when I started getting busy because I wasn't with the wife, I was working more and I was earning more money, and she heard I was making more money and decided to get in touch and got back together. And the pressures really got to me. I mean, I was earning so much money, it was just unreal. And she said, well, why don't you take it easy at home, love? You relax for a bit, I'll run the company. Which, brilliant, sounded great. But what I didn't know, while she was in my office, she'd opened up another limited company, informed all my clients that she was now taking over the show. To pay into her bank account, she went to my bank account, took everything out. And of course I found out, and obviously I made a bit of a scene in the family home and 999 the police, and she even got me out of my home. And that was it. I was left with absolutely nothing.
We should make it plain that we have no evidence at all that she's done anything improper, but you feel cheated. You feel let down.
I've been, yeah, completely.
You certainly feel betrayed. Right?
Oh, very betrayed.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's more than a touch ironic that you should explain, in fact, what you do for a living.
I'm actually a private investigator.
Yeah. But you didn't obviously spot this.
No.
No. I understand your bitterness. Do you miss the money? Where is your contempt based, really? Is it based on the fact that you were betrayed by your partner, or is it based on the fact that you actually missed out on a lot of dosh? Where is your contempt based, really? Is it based on the fact that you were betrayed by your partner, or is it based on the fact that you actually missed out on a lot of dosh?
I do miss the money slightly. I mean, money didn't make me happy. I've always been a happy, smiling chappie anyway. But it's more the contempt that she ended up with it rather than me. And it's me who worked for it 17 hours a day for 5 years solid.
So you resent it, you're jealous?
I really do, yeah.
Will audience, let's get you involved, but let's kick off with Glenn here. Will Lola find happiness in this search?
Being very honest about this, and it may be the best way for her to proceed, but I'm sure she'd be a lot happier if she could make some money through her own accomplishments rather than being dependent upon men.
Mm-hmm. So we don't think that it's necessarily a wise course?
No, it is a time-honoured procedure, I suppose, for women to sell their youth and beauty to men who have acquired wealth. It's a well-known trade-off, so it's by no means uncommon, and she at least is honest enough to admit it. But it puts her in a very insecure position if the men that she's going to become attached to are likely to just cut her off and run off with somebody else later on.
You see, Glenn used a very interesting word there, didn't he, Lola? He used the word sell, which has all sorts of implications and ramifications, doesn't it? I mean, do you ever think that's what you're doing?
No, there is a very big difference. It's companionship. I'm sure that's the proper word for it.
What do you make of what she's doing?
I totally disagree with the whole system that what she's going about, in my opinion, she's just classing herself as a high-class prostitute, really.
It's as bad as that?
Yes, yeah.
No, there is a difference. You see, you don't necessarily go out there looking for rich men, but if someone approaches you and they like you and you've had a few drinks and they like your company, you're laughing together, before you know they're rich and they've offered you, do you want to go to Paris or do you want, you know, come on holiday or want a diamond ring, would you say no?
Would
I
you
mean,
say
what
no?
would be the use of
Say
saying
the boot was
no?
on the other foot, would you say
Because
no?
they're
Yeah.
enjoying
It's
the
easy for
fact
chaps
that they're
to
giving.
scorn women and reprimand women
I mean,
for
if
doing
I was
this.
to go abroad with someone else, I'd pay my own way, not, or halfway,
But
you
would
know.
you, if you was like really liked someone and they couldn't afford to pay for their own trip, would you offer to pay for it?
What, do you think she's
Or would you
selfish?
expect her to
Yeah, I think it's
refuse?
very selfish. What about if the bloke was really nice to you, bought you a few drinks, but you had no money? You'd dump him.
Men don't mind gold diggers. They just, as long as they do it with a certain style, as long as they sort of, if they're really nice people and not just like after their money, but enjoy their company. I mean, there is this assumption that men, that gold diggers go for are old and ugly and just rich. It's not true. There's some really charming guys out there, and it just happens they've got money.
Gentlemen over here.
I can't see what